Hello everyone, so in this video we are going to learn that how can you get WhatsApp messages on Google Sheet. Let's say that you are collecting suggestions or feedbacks from your customers and only those specific messages about the suggestion or the feedback you want to collect them in a separate Google Sheet for future references. But rather than manually copying the message and pasting in the sheet or spreadsheet, you can create a complete automation with the help of Pabbly Connect. And in this automation you can integrate these two applications directly. And here our trigger will be the customer message received via Interakt from WhatsApp chat, and our action will be to add new row in Google Sheet. Let us learn how to do that. So let us learn that how you can keep a record of all the WhatsApp messages that you receive back from your customers in a Google Sheet like this. Like this is my sheet I have prepared for the customer feedbacks, and I'm going to get or receive the SMS using Interakt by WhatsApp. Now let's see. Here is my WhatsApp and I have been talking to this customer support conversation. And here as a customer, I'm going to type a message for the feedback that I will be giving for this specific organization. All right, like this, the last message that I have received is from the Graphy family that I have subscribed to their course. Now I will give a feedback of what was my experience in order to subscribe this course, and that will be sent to my Google Sheet to keep a record of all the feedbacks they will be receiving from the customers. So let us begin and sign in our account. So that we will reach this place where I can see all the applications provided by Pabbly, and we are going to use Pabbly Connect to create this automation. Click on Access Now, which will take me to the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. Reaching here, you will be able to see a big blue button on your right side where it is written Create Workflow. Click on the button and give a suitable name to your workflow. I'm going to name it as Get WhatsApp Messages in Google Sheets. Click on Create, and then a blank workflow will be created for you like you can see on your screen. You will be able to see the two major modules of Pabbly Connect, Trigger and Action, on which the complete workflow runs over here. Before that, make sure you open the applications which are supposed to be integrated. Like here for WhatsApp receiving, we are going to use Interakt, and the destination for all our messages will be Google Sheets. And I have opened my WhatsApp web to send the message in order to start the workflow. Now let us understand trigger says when this happens and action says do this, which means that trigger will be the first application where the event will take place for the very first time. Like here, our trigger is going to be Interakt, and what is the purpose of Interakt over here? To receive a message. So the trigger event is going to be customer messages or template status sent. So if you have sent a message, then it will respond with the sent notification. Otherwise, customer messages will be received. All right. So here you will select this trigger event. So whenever a customer message is arriving over here, then at that moment of time, our action application, which is going to be Google Sheets, will keep a record of all the messages that you will be receiving. But there is one important part over here. First of all, let us choose the action event, which is adding a new row, because we have already prepared a sheet. Like here, you can see I have entered the country code. There is this phone number. The message by the customer, date and time is given over here. So our new message will be entered over here in the sheet. So we are basically going to add one more row. So our trigger and action is done. But if the customer is in the middle of the conversation, then all the conversation messages will be recorded over here. So we have to make sure that only the feedback messages are sent to the Google Sheet to keep a record. So for that, we will be putting some features of Pabbly in the workflow. Let us begin. First of all, we have Interakt over here, and we have to connect our Interakt and Pabbly Connect in such a way that whenever in WhatsApp a message is received, then that newly received message is brought over here as a webhook response. Pabbly Connect basically connects both these applications in such a way that one message is received by Interakt, then that message is kept safe by Pabbly Connect. Further, Pabbly Connect integrates the other application in the workflow, and therefore the saved message over here in the trigger response is forwarded to the action application, and that is how the automation is complete. So here we have to connect this webhook URL provided to us by Pabbly Connect. This webhook URL is responsible for bringing the response or bringing received message on WhatsApp here as a response. Alright, so these are the instructions given over here. Let us follow these and create the integration. Copy this webhook from here. Go to your Interakt and your developer settings. This is my Interakt. In the bottom left corner, I have my settings. And here I have developer settings. You can see I have configure webhook over here, edit, and here erase the existing one. And I will paste the new URL over here. Alright, now I have to select the trigger on which this webhook URL should be alerted. So it's just this one, which is message received from customers. Alright, so I have already selected, nothing else is selected over here. Okay, send status, delivered, red status, like that you can send. Template. So yeah, this webhook is responsible for only bringing the messages. So you can make changes over here. Okay, click on submit and your connection is done. Okay, it's configured successfully. Now your Interact and Pabbly Connect is connected. So we have received this over here. Okay, this is a confirmation that webhook test is complete. Now what we will do is recapture the webhook response and the number on which the customer has been talking to, like I showed you in the very beginning. I will be typing over there a message as a customer of feedback, and then as a feedback message it will be arriving over here in this response section. Let us go to the WhatsApp. Okay, so here I will write feedback first of all, and here I will write my name. And now I will write the message, which is, so here I have sent my message of feedback. Now what I will do is go back to my workflow and see. We have received a message. Message received. Okay, it's text. Now here is the message, which is feedback, the customer name, the service is good, and I will rate 8.5 out of 10. The same exact message that we typed over here to this customer service, we have received it over here in our response. Now we want to record this and send it to our Google Sheet over here. And what else do we have in the message? Let us check. We have a timestamp, which is the time and date of the message receiving, and we have it in the UTC format. But now UTC format is applicable to some of the people, all right, but I want it to change to my country time zone. So what I will do is just use this UTC format to change it to my country time zone, and I will split this date and time because it looks a little bit complicated over here. And I have created two columns for date and time, as you can see. So I will split it off and then keep the date and time column over here. Alright, so we have received the message. Now let us close this module and click on this plus button. Like I mentioned while telling you the trigger and action, we need a filter as well, because we don't want all the messages that the customer will be replying to recorded over here. We only want the feedback messages. So we will use a filter, which is a feature by Pabbly, and it allows or continues the workflow only if the given situation over here is satisfied. So I'm going to choose over here, which is my message feedback. Okay, which should contain one word which is called feedback. All right, so I've written feedback over here. So whatever message the customer is giving, if there is a feedback name, the word feedback exists or contains in the message, then only this workflow will continue running. So I will click on save and send test request, and here you will find that yes, the status is correct and the condition is true. So in this given situation, this workflow will move ahead because this interact step will capture all the messages that are arriving from the customer side. And then the filter will make sure that the feedback messages are to be sent further. Now what we will do is, now we are going to change the format of our date. So let us choose next action, click on the plus button, add one more module, and here you're going to use another feature by Pabbly, which is called date time formatter. Now as you can see, the name suggests we have date and time formatter in front of us. We can change the date and time both. So the event over here is going to be format time zone only because the date and time is correct. I don't want to make any changes to them. I will only change the time zone from UTC to my country time zone, and you can do it vice versa. Click on connect. Connection is not a difficult task. The feature is inside Pabbly only. Now what we are going to do is map that value over here. So what is mapping? Mapping is basically creating a pathway. Like the date and time for this workflow is today's. If 2 days later another messages is arriving for feedback, so the date and time will change. And if I manually type over here today's date, now that date is not going to change. So what is the work of automation then? We are going to connect this step and the trigger step in such a way that every time the trigger step brings a new response over here, then that new response will be entered over here. So what is the date? Type in the search and map data date, or just time maybe. Yeah, this is the one, or we want the UTC one. So you type UTC and here we have. So data message received at, and this is the UTC format. So this is my date and this is my time. First change the format over here. This is the existing format. All right, which time zone is it right now? It is UTC. So I will change it like this. And then two time zone is my country's time zone, which is Asia, Kolkata. And I will choose that one. All right, click on save and send test request. And see, we have formatted the date and this is changed to my country time zone. Alright, the date is same but the time has changed. So now we are going to use this, but we need to split the date and time also because we have two different columns for the same. Now this is going to be the last step for the features. Click on the plus button and now you're going to use another feature by Pabbly which is called text formatter. Now similar to date time formatter, this is the feature which can format or change the type of text we have. So this time we are going to split the text because we have a very big timestamp and we are going to separate the date and time in two parts. First of all, connect with the workflow. And now again we will map. Now what are we going to map? The newly formatted date and time. Okay, because we have formatted it for this use only. Now, what is the separator? As you can see, the action is split text. So we are going to split the given text in two halves or three halves in whatever halves you want. So we want to put a separator, something which is responsible for breaking these two. I can see a T over here. This T, if I write T, so this T what it will do is that deal with the first part, bring the first part and the second part separately. Now what segment do you want? All. I want the first and second both segment. Click on save and send test request and the response will actually clarify all your doubts. See, the T is no more in the picture, but we do have the date and the time over here. Alright, this is the time and this is the added time to change it into the Asia Kolkata format. We have the date and time separated, we have the date formatted and we have the filter applied. Now simply what we are supposed to do is add this all data from Pabbly Connect workflow to Google Sheets. Now since we have already chosen the action event and application, connect it. And we are connection so that all that data which is already existing in the workflow should be transferred to Google Sheet. Add new connection and then sign in with your Google account. Choose your account and click on allow. And here your connection is done. Once it is done, you have to choose your spreadsheet name and also your sheet name. So the spreadsheet name that I am working on is customer feedback. So I'm going to choose the same. This is the one. And the sheet will be selected automatically. If you have multiple sheets, then you can change it. Otherwise, I'm only having one, so I don't have to change it. Now I will have all the columns, country code, phone number, message, date, time, everything which I have over here. So it has already detected these columns and as soon as I enter data over there and click on save and send test request, all that data will appear over here. Okay, so let us do that. The country code, so you just type in search and map data. My country code is this. It will straight away take me to the country code. Okay, what is the phone number? So I will take it from the Interakt customer message trigger response. So I'm going to type a hint of my contact number over here from which I sent the message. Then I have the message. So again, the message I will take from my trigger application, which is this one. Okay, now I have to map the date and time. Now I will map the date from the text formatter. This is my date. And similarly, I will map the time from the text formatter only. This is mapped. Date and time is also mapped. Click on save and send test request and your response will include that all those cells are updated. See, we have the response over here. One row is updated, which is very clear. 5 columns because yes, we created 5 columns and 5 cells individually. Now we will close this module over here and let us go and check our Google Sheets. Now this is my sheet. Here you can see my country code is here, my contact number is here, my message that is simply mapped from the trigger response. This is the date and time we formatted and split it. Which means that yes, with the help of this workflow, every time a new message of feedback is given by the customer on this specific number, then first it will be filtered that is it a feedback message? If it is, then it will continue working and then the date will be formatted. The text will be splitted into date and time 2 parts and then it will be updated in my Google Sheets like you can see over here. So this is how it is going to work. So this was the whole video. I hope this helped. Not just these applications, but you can integrate many other applications using Pabbly Connect. If you have any issue regarding Pabbly, you can email us at support@pabbly.com. You can ask your queries at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any doubts regarding our pricing, then you can connect us through this given website. If you found this video helpful in any way, then make sure to share this with your friends and colleagues to make their life easier by creating automations. We will meet in the next video. Till then, do not forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.